Hey, Alabama Knife and Tool. Hey, Greg, how you doing? Just trying to set things up here. Nothing exciting going on tonight. I was just bored working in the garage, and I thought maybe I'll go live. Hey, Stan, what's up? I'm out trying to decide what projects to work on. I was looking at some knives I had to clean up, and then I got just working on some axe heads. So I've been working on this one here. It's a hewing axe. I just wanted to clean it up, get the rust off, and see if I could find a maker's mark anywhere. And I haven't had any luck with that. It's pretty rough on the surface. Fairly roughly made. See, it's losing some steel down in here. But I can't find a maker's mark anywhere on it. So I think we're just going to turn this one into a user. I'll have to put a new handle on it. Hey, Eli. So I thought for something different, I picked up some flits, and it says it removes rust. So I tried that on it and it worked out pretty good. So maybe we'll grab another one here and give it a try. Here's an old double bit that I was at it's kind of a permanent yard sale. Guy's got a bunch of tables set up in his yard. It's kind of a roadside attraction sort of thing, permanent yard sale. So I picked this was rusting away in a bucket under a table. So I thought I'd grab it and see if I could turn it into anything I could use. I've done a little bit of cursory rust removal on it, and I'm not seeing much of a maker's mark there. The only thing I can find appears to be a little bit of a stamp right here. I don't have the best light here to show you that. There's a little bit of a stamp right there. Seems like an L and something faded next to it. Hey, Chris. So, yeah, nothing, just Friday night. I'm out of the woods and I'm bored. So I just thought I'd do some cleanups. I got a few knives I was looking at cleaning up and just wasn't feeling the vibe. I had this old Forest Master here. That's a rusty mess. And the clamshell and one of the tabs is broken off. So somebody had a piece of tar or something in there trying to hold it on. So this one's going to need a good little rust bath, I think, and some rust remover. And then I'll have to figure out a way with that broken tab to fix the scale back on again. And a few other small knives to work at, but just wasn't feeling it, so I started to work on the axe heads. Hey, Famous Master. Hey, Mike. I noticed nobody else was doing a live. I sent a message to make Cutlery Great again to see if he was going to do anything tonight. I didn't hear back, so he's probably doing family stuff. Well, I just come in here for a little bit and just tinker around and maybe give people a place to chat. Using some ultrafine steel wool. You can see there is the finest of the fine. 0000. Because I don't want to affect the patina too much. Can everybody hear me okay? Thanks, Honest Master. Hey, JC. Hopefully you can hear me okay. I don't know how good my connection is here. I'm quite a distance from my Wi-Fi. We're just going to try a little bit of this Flitz. See what it does for the removing the rust with that ultrafine steel wool. Jay Taylor, how you doing? Hey, Ryan, what's up, man? I was watching your Mike's live earlier. I missed quite a show. I was back in the woods, so I think I was back in the stand when that was going on. So I didn't have a very good connection back there. But you guys had a pretty good show, it looks like. I'm just here cleaning up some axe heads just to have something to do on a Friday night. This is Friday night when you get old. You tinker. Hey, Dwayne. There, Dwayne, there's one I just finished doing a little rust removal on. Looking for a maker's mark. Couldn't find anything on it. It's a pretty rough one. There was nothing in here I could find for a maker's mark anywhere, so this will become a user, I think. It took a heavy grind on the blade. So we'll make a user out of it. Oh, geez, I hope it's nothing too serious, Chris. A lot of people seem to be sick right now. So I just, Dwayne, just in case you came in, didn't hear, I am using Flitz to take some of the rust off of these axe heads to see if that will take the rust away without affecting the patina too much. I'm using some ultra fine steel wool just to kind of massage it in. I think I have a maker's mark on this double bit, but I'm not sure. It looks like some kind of a stamp, but there's not much left of it. Well, thank you, Famous Master. I like the knives, so I put the effort in to try and clean them up as best I can. They don't make them like they used to, so I definitely want to preserve them. I don't know if you can make this out, Dwayne. This might mean something to you. There's a, if I can get an angle on it. The mark right here looks almost like an L. Right there, and then there's something next to it, but I can't quite tell what it is. That's the only mark I can find on this double bit. But that seems to be, the flit seems to be doing a pretty good job. Here's the untreated side. I did give it a soak in some vinegar just to break it down a little bit. So you can see there's quite a bit of rust on this side, and so that flit seems to be doing a decent job in taking the rust off without really affecting the patina too much. Hey Radar, how you doing, man? I'm just out in the garage killing some time on a Friday night. Very old maker's mark. I have some with the mark similar, a star, AX, etc. Yeah, it kind of looks like an L, and then there's something next to it, but it's just so faded I can't make it out. But we'll get the rust off it, and I'll oil the steel so it doesn't rust anymore, and then maybe down the road I can figure something out, find out a little bit more information on it. I mean, it's a small axe, so I don't know if it would have been a forestry industry axe or just a more of a home use axe. Me tonight, for myself for the Tyson fight, no, I'll catch the highlights later on. I'd like to watch it. I'd like to see Jake Paul get his comeuppance. You know, I can't say I think it's really cool trying to make your bones as a young guy fighting the old guys, but I think it's really cool when the old guys kick that guy's butt. So, but maybe that's because I'm an old guy. Some of you may have heard about my unwelcome visitor the other night. I was sitting in the living room watching TV, and I had a knock at my front door. And it's a big, heavy oak door. It's got a little window in it. And so I peek out through the window, and I see the backside of some young fella's head. And he's very agitated looking. And the next thing I know, he starts mule kicking my door, trying to kick the door in. So I gave a beller, and he made another kick, and then I think it registered, and he ran like a scalded dog. Ran across the street to my elderly neighbors, and I heard a window shatter. So I immediately made a 911 call, and then started getting ready to head over. And by then, police were already showing up. Apparently, mine was the third house he tried to kick the door in on. So by the time I got dressed and got out there, they got him. He had been running around in the house with a knife, and they were both in their 90s. But not before he ran out of their house and then ran to another house, smashed their window, and ran inside with a knife. And of course, there's blood everywhere because he'd gone through 2 pane glass windows. Claimed to the cops that he'd been shot, but talking to the police today, I went in for a statement, and they said, no, he wasn't shot. He was just cut from the windows. So turns out he was not even from here, just traveling through, and they think he had a drug-induced psychotic episode. So that's always fun. They asked me if I needed counseling or anything. I'm like, just felt like a day at work for me. I knew by the way he'd been kicking the door that he'd done time, and sure enough, he had a record to show he had. So. Let's try to catch up on the chat here. Yeah, nobody got hurt. There's a lot of property damage done. they want everybody to give an assessment of their property damage because they want to put in what do you call it, where he has to pay everybody back, but he's not going to have any money to pay anybody back with, so that'll just be something they can present in court, just to show the grievousness of his crime by the damage done. So, but fortunately he was somebody traveling through and not a local. That would have been a different story. Spent the last few days back at the camp trying to fill that hunting tag, but not having much luck there. Our deer in our area, they went through a couple years ago and did a big cut through. They did strip cutting, so they cut a strip, leave a strip, cut a strip, leave a strip. And it's kind of changed the dynamics of the area up, how the animals are moving. Plus, I think we've got a good coyote population, so most deer aren't starting to move until the sun drops. And you're not allowed to shoot them after the sun drops, so it's making it kind of tricky. Oh yeah, he when I yelled, Dwayne, he ran like a scalded dog. Hey Lanny, how you doing? Good to see you too, brother. I'm hoping I get one too. It's going to be Dad's last year, I think. Yeah, he's 79 now, and he's been battling Parkinson's for about 6 years now, and it's starting to get really bad. So either myself or my cousin are always in there with him. Not that he's not capable or anything, but just in case something happens. But he's, I think he's recognizing it's probably his last year. So not that he hasn't shot more bucks than I can count, but I would like to see him get one last one. So hopefully that'll pan out. But it's tricky right now. Just all the patterns that have changed for the deer and whatnot. So a lot of stuff we got to get used to. So there we are. That's what just the foots did, and some ultrafine steel wool. So mostly down to the patina. I'll have to let it dry. That may still be a little bit of rust in that there. You see it's either rust or where metal has flaked away towards the ends. It's still just that one mark. It almost looks like, if you take it at this angle, an L, backwards L here, and it looks like a V right there almost. Like a small V here, and then the larger symbol here. Oh, I don't know. Or maybe an A, I don't know. Somewhere there's I'm sure Dwayne would know, there's a Bible somewhere on tang stamps for these things. Have I missed anybody coming in? JC says, I'm listening on the road now. You all be well this weekend and have a fun nose. And Jay, you take care, drive safe, JC. Parkinson's is hard to deal with. Alabama, his has progressed slowly, fortunately. He started off with just a finger twitch, and then an arm, and then he lost his sense of smell, but now it's getting to the point it's all over now, from head to toe. Thanks, JC. I look like I might need that luck this year. Hey, Jason. I'm just here, just cleaning up some axe heads, trying to see what Flitz will do. Seems to be doing a pretty good job. Enjoy pops while you can. That's a very old forged double bit blacksmith made, not a factory one. What do you think of the curves? Dwayne, is that just like it's very rounded here and rounded here? Do you think that was the design, or was that just the way somebody was sharpening it? Somebody from a different time. There's Ronald. Good to see you, Ronald. Thanks for jumping in. I'm just out here in the shop, just puttering away, cleaning up some axe heads and pondering different projects, looking at some different knives. I was looking at this old Camilla's Barlow that I picked up. It's got some plastic saw cut handles. One of them's cracked, so I was thinking of doing it in stag, but I don't have a big enough piece of stag really to cover it. I don't think that would be big enough, particularly with the curve to it. I just hate to break apart the great big racks, so I may shop around and see what I can find for some stag. I appreciate that, Famous Master. Look, he's lived a good life, and he's taking it in stride. He just battles as best he can and tries his best not to slow him down. He's 79. He's still back in the woods, tramping through and hunting, chasing deer. So, yeah, Camille, it's a good knife. Just it's a shame there's a crack. I don't know if you can see it, but the crack is right down off the pin, right down the back. And it's got the cover. It's quite loose. You can probably hear it clicking there. And it's a double crack, so splitting one way and splitting off the other way. So that's not something I don't think I can fix. So I found the right material. That'll be a recover project, I think. There's some of the ones I'm looking at here. This is a neat little one. This one was a there's my magnifying glass. Geez, it's hard to make out. I think it might be Providence Cutlery Company, Providence, USA. I just thought this was a neat little one because you got your knife, and you got a little can opener on the end. It would have been like a keychain or a watch chain type knife, something might hang off a watch chain along with a watch. But little can opener. So a few little ones here to work on. This one here, the blades are in rough shape, and it's got a broken cover on it here, where the light's not the best. Both sides are broken at the pin. Not elaborate or expensive knives, but still cool little knives and old knives, and that means the most to me. That's the way it was made. Okay, thanks, Dwayne. Good to know. Cruiser or saddle axe? I'm getting all kinds of good tips here. Yeah, it's hard to see them slow down, Jason, but you know what? We should be thankful we've had them for as long as we have. Jacob, a very good knife company, says linseed oil will help the cracks. That one is a plastic cover, so I don't know if linseed oil would do much for that, but certainly give it a try. Man, says it's still an example of classic flannel. I'm getting back into the flannel. Getting back into the old stuff. But, I'm losing my fancy. So I'm getting more appreciation for, like I said, I put it in a nutshell. The world got stupid the last few years. And I decided I'm going to go back in time and start living as if it was the 60s, 70s, or 80s again. So that's why I started doing things like carrying a handkerchief in my back pocket, because when I was young, all the old fellas had a handkerchief in their back pocket. Whether they pull out to shine their shoes, blow their nose, or wipe somebody's tears. And that's why I started carrying a pocket knife again. And just getting in touch with all those old things that made a lot more sense from a time that made a lot more sense. So I just had enough of the stupid. I decided I'm just going to deny it and live as if it was not stupid. And anybody doesn't like that, well, I don't need their input. So that's my attitude towards it all. David Salter, wish you would do full screen. You know what, David? It's the lives. They seem to want to do it this way. It's kind of a YouTube thing. You know what? Not much out there warmer than wool. You know, if you're not allergic to it, and unfortunately some people are, but it's not much warmer than a wool blanket, I'll tell you that. When our uniforms used to have wool pants, and then they switched to cotton, and they're just nowhere near as warm in the wintertime. That would be interesting to see, Lanny, old broad axe like that. I thought about digging out a pipe again or making one, Chris. Jim, you're here and you can talk. That's awesome. And congratulations on breaking 100. Good to hear it, Mike. So, anyways, that's two tidied up. So we'll drop a little oil on these. I don't have any linseed oil out here. So we got some 3-in-1. So just give them a quick rub down to 3-in-1 to keep any rust from coming back on them until I decide further what to do with them. I should probably wear gloves when I do all this stuff, but I'm just not that smart, I guess. University educated, but not real bright, maybe. Who knows? I sent Mick Cutlery Great Again a message to see if he was going live, because I didn't want to step on his toes. But I never got a response back, so I said, well, I'll jump on, and if it pops up that Mike's going live, then I'll just pop off and let him do his thing. But in the meantime, makes a spot for everybody to get together and chat. I think that's probably the best thing about these lives. Not what any of us are doing on the camera, but what everybody's doing in the chat. I think that's where all the best action happens. In the 70s, A's fan too, with just lived through 4 years of stupid. Hope it's going to change. It's got to change. Things are looking good down south for you folks. I'm up here in Canada for anybody who doesn't know. And we're 5 years ahead down the road in the stupid. So hopefully what's happened in the last couple weeks down there derails you guys from heading down the track to where we are. I've seen a lot of people, intellectuals, comment that basically Canada is 5 years further down the road that the U.S. was heading. And, as much as some people might gripe about the U.S. and whatnot, we need you folks down there to keep your shit together. Excuse my language, because, the U.S. is in many ways a linchpin that holds everything else together, or a pivot point that everything else can spin around. And if you folks down there go off the tracks, and you're taking the rest of the train with you, I think. So I'm very happy to see what's going on down there, and hopefully some of the same can happen up here, and the whole world can get back on track to common sense. There, that's my political rant for today. Would be a great whittling project, Mike. Roman King, you remind me of Neil from the you mean Negan? I know I've been compared to Negan a couple times. I don't carry a baseball bat wrapped in barbed wire, although I probably could have used it the other night. Oh yes, that's right. It's Ellaville this weekend. So probably everybody is on the road. That's why it's so quiet in the live realm. Very well said. Well, thanks, Mike. Amen. Thanks, Ryan. So true. Yeah. So you guys get it on track and keep it on track down there. So we don't go off track up here any further than we have. Because it's as bad as you thought it was getting down there, it's gotten pretty rough up here. But just look at our knife laws. Oh my God. It's those kind of laws people make, I think, to intentionally confuse people. So you just say, I'm not going to touch a knife at all because I don't know what's right or wrong. I mean, there's knives I can buy at the store that I'm not allowed to carry. And there's laws at the border with our border services that are different than the laws on carry laws for the rest of the country. So there's knives I can carry here, but that I can't get across the border. So if I try and buy one from a shop in the US, it'll be seized at the border, but I can buy it from a shop here and carry it. So make sense of that. I don't have a modern out here with me, but let's use this for an example. So let's say this is a modern flipper. So I got a flipper tab on the back. It's going to have a detent ball or some form of detent here that gives it the resistance so it will actually flip out full. Well, if you order one of those knives from the States or somewhere else, Border Services is allowed to pull it this far out to break the detent, and then if they can flick it open with their wrist, it's not allowed in the country. But yeah, I can buy the same knife at a store here. So make sense of that for me. I think it's all just intended to confuse people to the point they just say, wash your hands up and say, I'm just not going to risk it. So. Yeah, appreciate that, Chris, the double tap. Yes, Northman, I am in Eastern Canada. I was in the camp last night. We had snow up in the mountains, but nothing down at sea level. So we're getting there. Probably be around sea level around your main communities. It'll probably be another month before we see any snow that's actually going to stick. Would love to have hit that show. Our laws are cost to buy them. Shipping is beyond. Oh yeah, I mean, your typical, let's say your typical case knife, like a case trapper, down in the States, you guys might pay $60-80 for it. We're looking at probably 120, pushing 200. I see some case knives that are like $250 on a site up here. That's just your standard case knife. But by the time you look at the exchange, Canadian money is probably around 68 cents to the American dollar right now. So you look at the exchange, then the import fees, and then all the taxes that are applied on top of that. I mean, even if I order that, say, $80 case knife from the States, it's probably going to cost me probably double that by the time I get it in my hands. So, and the stores, like at Bass Pro, they're probably buying in stock, and so getting a discount that way. But even so, you're hard pressed to find a case knife for under $100 up here, and that's probably a good deal if you do get one. So your Benchmade, your Spydercos, I mean, I don't even look at those up here because they're in the $300 plus range, a lot of those. And they're nice knives, but I'm not paying $300 for one. Are you talking to me, Jason? How far from Plattsburgh? Because I don't even know where Plattsburgh is. I've heard of it. Yeah, Daniel, I mean, stuff's expensive up here. Jim Knives. Laws are passed about knives because that is easier than dealing with the people that use them as weapons. Achieves nothing, lets them say they did something. Well, yeah, I mean, it's like any argument against knives or guns or anything like that. I mean, you know, someone says, we'll ban all guns. Okay, well, then a bad person can use a knife. We'll ban all knives. Well, great, then a bad person can use a hammer. Well, ban all hammers. Okay, then they'll drive their car into a crowd. I mean, you're never going to stop crazy people from doing crazy stuff if they want to do crazy stuff. So it's just a fact of life. You know, you don't deal with the knife, the gun, the hammer, or the car. You got to deal with the person. And yeah, I'm not sure where. I know where Maine is. I went to New Hampshire by accident once. I was in Maine and I wanted to go to the Kittery trading post, and I missed my turnoff. So I had to go into New Hampshire to turn around and come back. So I accidentally went to New Hampshire once. I haven't been anywhere down in New York. I've had offers to go visit the city, and I thought to myself, I'm not crazy about visiting the small cities here. I definitely don't think I want to spend any time in New York City. I'm sure it's great for the people that live there, and there's probably lots of cool stuff to see, but I remember I had to go on training in Kingston, Ontario once. That's where York University is. And it's not a big town, or not a big city. But I went for a walk one evening to find a convenience store, and I probably passed, 10 people while I was walking. And how you doing? Hi, how you doing? And every one of them looked at me like I was a maniac or something, and just started walking faster. I'm like, why would you want to live in a place where you can't say hi to each other when you walk past each other on the street? That sealed the deal for me. I'm small town all the way, because I kind of like saying hi to my neighbors. I kind of like it when they say hi back. So. Yeah, Kittery Trading Post. That was quite a spot, but that was long before we had anything like a Bass Pro or Cabela's or anything up here. That was that was an adventure. That was outdoor gear overload for me. But on top of crazy Canadian laws, it is illegal in Canada to carry anything for self-defense. So if you've got a pocket knife in your pocket and you happen to go for a walk on the street, and the police say to you, do you have any weapons on you? Oh, I got a pocket knife in my pocket. And they ask you why, because you might have to cut a box, cut some tape. Because if you say, well, it's a bad neighborhood and I'm a little concerned, you can be arrested because you're just admitting to carrying a weapon for self-defense. So it is illegal to carry anything on your person for the purpose of self-defense in Canada. That's that's a crazy thought, because especially now when we got no shortage of people out there wanting to do crazy things like kick your front door in. So I often say, as wild as it's gotten down the States, be thankful for what you have down there. No, I've never done commercials or anything. I do have a buddy who works for a local radio station that has tried to get me to come in and do radio spots for them. I've got the deep voice. I don't enunciate well. I'm very monotone. Everything is very flat. There's not much pitch to my voice, so it doesn't carry very well. Wife and I went up to Canada in the early 70s. Back then, we just said hi to the guard as we drove over the border. Times have changed. Oh yeah. Hey Blade, how you doing? My grandmother was from England, and it's escaping me exactly at the moment what part of England she was from. But she was a war bride. My grandfather met her during the war, and she came back with him. So I've got a lot of connection to the UK. As a kid, had many times for Christmas, I got Argyle socks and storybooks about the Wamples and double-decker buses and things like that for toys. So I've got a good little historical connection to the UK. You know what? And I rag on it. Canada's a great place. A lot of great people, beautiful things to see. You know, I love it up here. I'd be sickened to have to go somewhere else, but it's just, I don't know what happened to us. We were an extremely rugged people at one time and a very practical people. You know, we're known worldwide for being very nice, but there's value in being nice. And I don't know, just somewhere in the last few decades, it's that nice has kind of taken us down maybe a bad path. I don't know. But we used to be a lot more rugged than we are in general now. And I don't know. I don't like it very much. I wish we were rugged again. Because when things get tough, it's good to have rugged people around, because rugged people can deal with stuff. So, anywho, I'm getting off on rants, and I'm not fixing anything or working on any projects. I'm getting caught up in the chat. So, anyway, folks, how long have I tied you up here for? 42 minutes. 22 people watching. That's pretty good. That's going to be a record for me. Not that I've done many of these things. I never come in and do these with any big plan or anything. It's just I'm bored, and you know, invite you all over to be bored with me. So hopefully I entertain you a little bit. But I think I'll call it there and get inside and get myself cleaned up and see if I can desperately find something to watch on TV. And I won't, and I'll just end up watching KnifeTube videos like I do every night. So yeah, if you all that have your channels wonder why you see me comment a lot, because I like to support. You know, every video I watch gets a like, and 99% of them get a comment. But that's mostly what I do when I'm not working on this stuff. I'm not off in the woods, then I'm watching the other channels, because that's kind of what got me into this. So I like to support everybody, because this is an awesome community of people. Just, I've never, I can't say like I've never seen it in one place, because it's not one place. It's a variety of places all coming together under the YouTube envelope. But I've never encountered so many just salt of the earth, give you the shirt off their back kind of people in one big group anywhere. And very, very, very refreshing to see there's that many people still out there with that kind of attitude, that actually give a darn about other people and want to help people out. And you know, normally I've said it before, normally in a situation like this, if you were trying to do something like develop a YouTube channel, it would be a competitive atmosphere where you're trying to rise to the top and outcompete other people and be the star in your genre or whatever. But in this community, everybody's just out for everybody else. They're doing their thing, but they want to encourage and support other people in doing their thing. You know, if you got somebody, there's Jedi Jim, for example. Somebody made a post that he was at 99 subscribers, needed one more for 100. Well, I bet you he's well over 100 right now if I go check. And so, yeah, just so many great supportive people here. So I love to see that, and I love to be a part of it. But anyway, folks, I'm going to call it there. See if there's anything I missed in the chat. Oh, I'm glad you caught it too, Mike. You know what? There's some Northmen. There's some places down in the States I'd definitely like to go spend some time in. That's for sure. We do have fantastic wildlife up here, Blade. Just if you ever come this way and you're in my territory, don't drive a Honda Civic, because I've seen more than one moose wearing a Honda Civic as antler decorations. Especially if you go to Newfoundland, because if you're driving a low vehicle and you're taking moose out at the knees, you got about 1,000 pounds coming through the windshield at you, and you're not likely to wake up from that. So with that cool wildlife comes some precautions you got to take. Hey, Ray, nice to see you, man. I'm just kind of wrapping it up here. I just did a little bit of tinkering, cleaning up some axe heads and some rambling and a little bit of, I guess, political griping about Canada. But hey, Ronald, you make your way up this way, you got a place to stay, man. Hey, Mike, I sent you a message there earlier just to see if you were going live tonight, because I didn't want to step on your toes, but I forgot all about Ellaville and everybody being on the road to that. Anyways, I'm going to cut it off there, folks. Have a great weekend. Next day has a chance of being better than today. Each of us just needs to keep plugging away. You got it, Jim. You have a great weekend too. All right, folks, I'm going to call it there. And thank you all for dropping in to say hi and chit chat and listen to me ramble and tell some stories and wipe away on some axe heads. And I hope you all have a great night and a great weekend. Those of you going down to the Ellaville show, I hope to see lots of pictures and maybe some lives and lots of photographs of everybody together in groups that you got to meet up with, because I'm a long ways away and I'll never get to one of those things unless I win a lottery or something like that. But so I got to live vicariously for you guys. So make sure you're posting a lot and sharing what you're seeing down there and who you're meeting up with. And until then, hope you all have a great weekend. And if you're traveling to Ellaville, travel safe, take your time, get some rest before you get on the road again. And if you get a chance, stop and take a walk in the woods. And bring a knife with you. It might just come in handy. Yeah, I'll take care.